I was just 7 when war broke out. I remember the day so clearly. I was playing in the garden of some friends on their swings on a Sunday morning, and all of a sudden the siren went. We'd never heard that noise before, and we kept laughing. We thought, what a funny noise it is. And it kept going. And the children's grandmother came to the door and looked very serious and said to me, Kathleen, go home to your mother now. And I thought, why is she so worried? Anyway, I went home and I was told it was the beginning of the war.
This is normal, you know. I didn't see nothing wrong with it, you know. There was Germans and there was us, and we were fighting, you know. And there was a great fear of the Germans, especially German paratroopers or spies. They were lurking all around every corner, according to the press. And we were always aware of that, you know, especially at night. And but apart from that, it was exciting.
You couldn't go on the beach.
Uh-huh.
It was all shut right off. You had to have a permit if you wanted to come down from London and visit. My aunt had one because she came down. Mostly you couldn't even drive along the front. They didn't allow traffic or anything along there. In about 1940 we had a sea mine wash up, and there's great big things with spikes on that you see pictures of, and it washed up on the beach somewhere near the bottom of our road, and we were all evacuated until they disposed of it.
I was at Angling Village School, oldest charity school as it then was, opposite the church, and if the air raid warden, a siren went, we had to get under our desks, you know, make sure, you know, that we were protected. We had to lay flat in the field one day, plane was machine gunning, and also then you got the V1 bombers called the Doodlebugs, and they'd come over. They were obviously just engines with no pilots, and when the engines cut out, they just dropped. And we used to say, oh, just don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. It just willed them to go on, you know, and they were quite low. So that was another thing. And then one morning we were, just before I went to school, in our sitting room, we heard there's another airway, there's sort of what we call a dogfight with the aircraft and enemy and our aircraft above. And you could, from our house, you could see across through to Rushington by Windmill Bridge. We saw a plane shot down and 4 parachutes coming down just about around the Windmill Bridge area. You know, the Germans bailed out of their aircraft, so I don't really know what happened to them. But we saw that very, very clearly. But again, you see, to me, it's all an adventure.
Mum used to write to me and tell me lots of what was going on in Littlehampton at that time. She used to write to me and she told me about the one day she was in the high street shopping and a German plane which had been part of a bombing raid on Ford. An RAF aerodrome later became a Fleet aerodrome. But one of the planes came and machine gunned down the high street. She was out shopping, and she said she ran into what was then known as Cowell's shop, a lady's shop. And she also told me that the gas showrooms and some houses in St Catherine's Road had been bombed. The manse at the bottom of our street where we lived in Arundel Road, that was bombed, and the minister and his wife were killed. And a funny incident, because Mum told me this in a letter. A couple she knew lived next door to the manse in number 2 Arundel Road in a flat, in the upstairs flat. The guy was home on leave from the Navy at the time, and when the bomb dropped he was having a bath, and he was blown right out of the house in his bath and ended up in the middle of Arundel Road, stark naked. One of those funny things that happens in wartime.
We was always looking for the soldiers, you know, because soldiers smoked. Sometimes they might give you a bit of chocolate if they had it and things like that, you know. The Americans were best. Because we had lots of Canadians. One day there was all this commotion at the school. They got us out of classes, and what they'd done, they got all the children from the school and they took them down Norfolk Road to the convent there, because that's where the headquarters were. and they had a Christmas party for us. They'd done a Christmas party, and we had lemonade. I can't remember what sort of food we had. I think it was just a Christmas thing, something like that. I can't remember now. But what I do remember, when we actually left, they actually gave us an orange and an apple. I'd never seen an orange in my life. I didn't quite know what to do with it, this orange and this apple. And I think that I had this orange for several days and I never eat it. Until my mum said, you know, about it's going to go off or something, you know. So eventually I think I did consume it, you know.
About Musebrook, there was a sort of boating lake there, I think before the war, but I'm not sure about it. During the war, the Americans were stationed all around there, and they used the boating lake to test their so-called waterproof lorries. They were able to drive them into the water and across and out the other side. They actually tested them in the lake, which I don't suppose many people know about that.
When the war finished, I was so relieved. I used to think, I won't be killed by a bomb now.